One Piece Chapter 1160, The God Valley Incident, continues the God Valley flashback and gives us more details on the event. We find out about how dragons saved Shanks and Shamrock. We see the Celestial Dragons flash their latest discovery. We see the three legends of the era, Garp, Roger, and Xebec, arrive at the island, all ready to influence the next generation of pirates and alike in this world. We begin the chapter with Celestial Dragons bringing out the Davy clan members, all in chains. They say that the Davy clan people are among the most hated group ever, never finding a single person that loved this kind, similar to how the Buccaneers race are treated. And as the Davy members are brought out, the Celestial Dragons throw rocks and sharp objects at them, and they hope that the race will be wiped out once and for all. Saturn applauds Garling for finding this wanted group, and he's like, it was simply an act of fate, echoing what Xebec had said last chapter when he said that fate had pulled him towards God Valley. Next up, we see Shanks and Shamrock's mom plead to Dragon and ask him to take her kids someplace safe and somewhere they can be raised properly. She wants them to be anywhere but in the hands of Figurlin Garling. And then you see she takes her final breath and Dragon flees from the area with his woman's words weighing heavy on top of him. Meanwhile, the Celestials commence the manhunt competition, announcing they have 13 super rare rabbits, being the Davy clan people and the other rare rabbits like Kuma for them to hunt down. They give the prisoners 1 hour to run and hide somewhere in the island before they are killed by the God Knight. And you see the people scrambling away in horror. Men and women, young and old, they all look for a good place to hide. But to survive 3 weeks just hiding from the God Knights, their odds were stacked against them. The manhunt begins and the Celestial Dragons kill the fleeing prisoners, and they don't even spare little babies. It's horrifying seeing all these prisoners get executed like this, and it further cements how evil the Celestial Dragons really are. That is why Dragon has made it his life purpose to stop these demons and topple the world government. A world where you are governed by elders that follow the whims of the Celestial Dragons is not one you want to live in, and these poor souls in God Valley found out the worst way possible. What is so morbid is that in the Holy Land of Marijuana, there are giant flat screens showing the manhunt competition live as it's happening, and the Celestial Dragons are all gathered around like it's a sporting event, and they even betted on who will win the whole thing. Of course, the favorite is Figurlin Garling, but Gunko is also up there. One of the Celestial Dragons mentioned how Gunko is the knighthood's pet devoted god blade, which probably means that she's a recent addition to the God Knights, and still growing on her own. But you see her take out a few people with her devil fruit, which she had even back then, interestingly enough. Side note, I wonder if we'll ever get her backstory, and how she became a Celestial Dragon, considering she knew Brook in his previous life. Brook and Gunko had a close relationship back then, and I know it's been a while, but she remembered Brook in Elbaf, after which Emu took control of her body. Maybe that was a breach in contract of being an honorary Celestial Dragon or something? I don't know. Gunko as a character is fascinating, and I hope we explore more of her past in this arc. Back in God Valley, Shaky looks on, hearing all the shooting and screaming around her, waiting for it to be all over, worried if anyone's coming to rescue her. You also see the other God Knights, Saint Summers, trying to lure a kid onto his thorns from atop a tree, and his father tries to catch him falling into it, but he falls in instead. Summers remarks how touching that was, further showcasing his twisted idea of love and pain. Then we switch over to Dragon and how he's feeling at this moment. So he ran from the redhead woman's home and into the forest where he witnesses a bunch of dead prisoners on the ground. He's sickened by the sight. If he tried to betray the Celestial Dragons to save someone, then he and his entire platoon would end up dead just like the prisoners. In the next panel, a head marine official asks his subordinate if all of his team was on the ship, and the officer facing away from us thinks to himself where Dragon could have gone, and he hopes that Dragon has not gone into the island, as that would be stupid. And some fans are even speculating that this unknown marine could be Akainu, as he's made some interesting remarks about Dragon in the past, and Akainu would also be 17 at the time, so he can't be that higher up in the ranks than Dragon. Furthermore, it would add more development to Dragon and Akainu's relationship, and more the reason for us to be excited for Akainu's backstory, so I'd be happy if that marine was actually Akainu, but I can also understand if that's a random marine with no relevance to the story. But anyway, as Dragon moves across the island, he spots Ivankov on top of a boulder, preaching the importance of escaping this island and the game altogether to the other slaves. A Celestial Dragon spots them and gets ready to shoot them with his rifle, but Dragon steps in and shoots him in the back. Dragon's first act of rebellion was here on God Valley, because he shot a Celestial Dragon in the back, and everybody knows how serious of a crime it is in the One Piece world to attack a Celestial. If anyone even touches a Celestial Dragon, then an admiral will be sent to that island to eliminate that threat, just like with Kizaru and Luffy back in Sabaody Archipelago. But you see the celestial dragons show no mercy to the prisoners, killing any rabbit they find, and that's when the rock spires arrive from the east end. And we get this nice double spread of the likes of Whitebeard, Streusen, Stussy, Xebec, Big Mom, Kaido, Shaky, and Gloriosa, and they all have something to say. Xebec tells his crew that their first priority is Shaky, of course, then the treasure, and then the devil fruits. And he hopes that they don't try and kill each other over the treasures and bring it back to the Pirate Island to split it amongst themselves. But of course, you can't split Shaky. She's one person. So the guys all think of their own way of getting Shaky to fall for them. Shaky thinks she'll fall for whoever saves her first. Captain John thinks it's whoever gets the most treasure. And Gloriosa thinks she may impress Roger if she saves Shaky. But Whitebeard doesn't have any ulterior motives. He just wants to save his friend, and if that means she'll fall for him, then he'll take it, which of course he would. Any man would. And you see Stussy getting jealous of this fact, while Streusen tells us that Wang Zi stayed behind in God Valley, which makes sense because Wang Zi was the one who told the world government about Shaky's whereabouts. Big Mom is the only one who realizes how Shaky feels, so she's like, Shaky would never fall for any of you, even if the entire world turned upside down, while Kaido just wants to know if she'll bring him a devil fruit. So the Rock's pirates make landfall, and the Navy starts shooting cannons at them, to which Xebec says is futile. Back on the island, the celestial dragons have got the word of Xebec's arrival, so they're all panicking for cover, and we see Dragon has retrieved Shanks and Shamrock from where Garling had put them. And a part of me is kind of bummed out that we didn't see Dragon infiltrate wherever the babies were housed at. I feel like that is a big part of Dragon's arc in this backstory, and we just skipped past it. I would have liked to see who was guarding Shanks and Shamrock, and how Dragon managed to sneak in and out to get the babies without anyone noticing. It's a shame that we didn't get that. Maybe Oda didn't want to reveal how it went because of some plot convenience, or maybe he hasn't thought of that yet. Or maybe we'll see that just at a later time in a flashback showcasing Dragon's backstory. Regardless, Dragon has Shanks and Shamrock in his hands, and they're surprisingly quiet for little babies, and soon after, the Roger Pirates make landfall, which prompts the Marines to relocate the Celestial Dragons to the center of the island. All the crewmates are there with Roger in front, and he says that he's going to save Shaky and that no one else really has a shot, which is why the very next panel you see Roger trampled and run over by his crew. He tried acting like he was the only one capable of saving Shaky, but they all came to save her, so it's just hilarious to see Roger act like that, and it is very reminiscent of Luffy and his gag moments. And of course, with these notorious pirates making themselves known, the world government need their closest personal guards, the Holy Knights, to protect them. So we see the 6 God Knights in its full glory, with Garling, Summers, a black-haired woman, a little kid with a weapon, a person who could be Killingham's mother, and a giant, unknown, big-teeth creature. Something interesting to note is that Gunko is not here with the rest of the God Knights, which confirms that at this point, Gunko wasn't an official God Knight. She was only a devotee. Once again, I would like to see more of Gunko and how she became the God Knight after this event, but we're probably not getting that in this flashback, considering this is supposed to be Herald's and Loki's flashback. On the island, we see Whitebeard, Xebec, and Shaky cut Marines up as they move closer to Shaky, which prompts our favorite grandpa in the series, Monkey D. Garp, to join the fray. He does one of his signature moves where he tosses a cannonball at super speed, causing the surrounding area to explode and the nearby enemies to be tossed away. Roger and Xebec look shook because they immediately realize Garp is there with this one attack, with his singular attack. Garp has arrived at God Valley with his doghouse ship, and the Marines on the island scream out in joy knowing their Vice Admiral has come to save them. Now obviously, there's a rather large elephant in the room, in that Garp is there to save Marine officers protecting the Celestial Dragons who have been executing prisoners as a sport. It does feel weird seeing Garp on the side of the Celestial Dragons during this God Valley incident, even though he stated before that he hates the Celestial Dragons. It just leaves a sour taste considering Garp is one of my favorite characters in the series, and he's just standing by as this goes on. But I guess, what can he really do? Think about it, Garp is one of the most important Marines in history. He may be trying to change the system from within, and not like Dragon, who took on a more direct route by forming the Revolutionary Army. I find it funny when people say things like, oh, Garp should have just done what Dragon did and start the Revolutionary Army, when they know it's not that easy for Garp to simply leave everything he had built as a Marine to start an anarchist movement. Garp and Dragon are two different people with different ideals, and are in different stages of their life when Dragon left the Navy to do what he did. And how would it look if Garp left his position to do all of that? People would lose all the trust they ever had in the Marines, the force meant to protect the people. And like I always remind people, the Marines do more good than bad, and they act as the enforcers of justice. Without them, there would be no stability or order in this world. But that was the chapter. I think it was more recap than anything, setting up events that preceded the God Valley incident. I think the next few chapters should be even more mind-blowing, and I just can't wait. I just know Xebec's death will be one of the greatest moments in the series, hands down. Guys, did you like the chapter? Did you not? Please like the video, subscribe for more content like this, and leave a comment down below regarding your thoughts. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.